Welcome to Illuminati Silver. We tell you the truth about silver. Today is Saturday the 28th of January 2023 and we're publishing our gold and silver weekly update for the week ending the 27th of January. Last week was a mixed week for gold and silver, but before we discuss this, just a reminder that we condensed the two videos we produced the week before last, our gold and silver price forecast for 2023, into one video. And if you wish to listen to that, we've placed a link below. Okay, let's get back to what happened last week and what we're expecting this coming week. First, looking at gold and silver, gold rose $2 last week, rising from $1,926 to $1,928, having hit a high of 1949 and a low of 1911, a rise of just 0.1%. In sterling terms, gold finished the week at £1,556, that's up £2, and in euros it closed at €1,775, that's unchanged. Silver, however, fell 33 cents, falling from $23.95 to $23.61, having hit a high of $24.31 and a low of $22.78, a fall of 1.4%, the same percentage fall in fact as the previous week. In sterling terms, silver closed at £19.07, that's down 26 pence, and in euros it closed at 21.75 euros, that's down 0.31 euros. The gold to silver ratio, as a result, rose from 80.4 to 1 to 81.6 to 1. Now the difference between gold's high and low was $38, and the difference between silver's high and low was $1.43. Now we did predict last week what we expected to see, and we said that we anticipated seeing gold trade between 1875 and 1975, and this is exactly what's happened. For silver, we said that we envisaged silver will trade between $23 and $25, with $22.50 and $25.50 as outliers, and silver did trade within our normal range for much of the week, in fact almost all of it, save Monday, when it briefly fell into our outlier range towards the bottom, but then quickly recovered much of the fall. Looking now at other financials, Bitcoin is standing at $22,970, that's down $120 on the week, though it has been much higher. Equities were higher last week, as a result perhaps of the dollar falling slightly and a few fears disappearing in the marketplace, and the Dow Jones closed on Friday, therefore, at 33,978. That's up 603 points on the week. The S&P 500 closed at 4,070, up 98 points on the week. And the Nasdaq Composite closed at 11,621, up 481 points on the week. Oils were slightly lower. Brent crude closed at $86.66, that's down just 97 cents, just lower than $1. And WTI crude closed at $79.68, and that's down just below $2 at $1.96. The dollar index stands at 101.92, and that's down just 0.09 on the week, virtually unchanged. Now, to be quite transparent, last week's economic data coming out of the United States was pretty uneventful, with most reports matching expectations. Even the PCE price indices came in on the nose, to use a horse racing expression. Core PCE for December was reported as 4.4% year over year, exactly as predicted, not by us but by the markets, and that was down slightly from November's 4.7% year over year. Jobless claims for the week were a little lower than anticipated, while durable goods orders were higher. But none of these particularly moved markets, as we can see from the overall market reports. Now, this coming week only begins to become exciting from Wednesday onwards, when we have the ADP employment report, the manufacturing indices, and the Fed's FOMCs making its announcement on interest rates, which currently stand at 4.25 to 4.5%. That's the Fed funds rate. Needless to say, this will be the exciting part of the week, dependent on what the Fed does and market expectations for what the Fed is going to do is for an interest rate rise of 0.25%. Less than this, then the Fed will appear dovish indeed, and more than this, it will appear hawkish. Our view, even though the core PCE fell by 0.3% in December, which was anticipated, and is giving the very clear indication that inflation is falling, in spite of that, we believe the Fed should raise rates by 0.5% to consolidate the declining inflation rate decline. The market is expecting a 0.25% rise and then a further 0.25% rise at the following meeting. We believe that could be a mistake, but we also have to admit that the Fed has a political audience to deal with as well as an economic one. So let's see how they handle that on Wednesday. Now on Friday we have the non-farm payrolls report, which would be most important and relevant and impactful if it were declared before the FOMC decision. But as they are being announced 2 days afterwards, then those figures will be seen as an endorsement or otherwise of that decision rather than a precursor to it. Now, as we mentioned last week, silver is meeting resistance between $24 and $24.50 and will for some time until we see that dollar index below 100. The fear of a global recession lasting quite a while will keep silver under pressure, but we do see it potentially breaking out towards the upside once the Fed stops raising rates. Gold, meanwhile, holds its own, and much really depends on what the Fed does and say on Wednesday as far as its short-term price movement is concerned. So, factoring in a rise of 0.25% will have a different impact than a 0.5% increase. So for this coming week, we still anticipate to see gold trade broadly between 1875 and 1975, with 1850 and 1995 as outliers. The same prediction, in fact, we've had for the previous 2 weeks, and which has held up well. We envisage silver will trade between $22.25 and $24.50, with $22.25 as outliers. Now tomorrow we shall republish this video under a different headline and thumbnail, and we've placed links below for our gold and silver price forecast for 2023. Now finally, if you're considering thinking about purchasing gold and silver, then do make contact with the Pure Gold Company, link below, who are only too happy not only to discuss short-term purchases and sales, but also longer-term strategies and retirement considerations. They will also offer you a discount or special terms if you state you were referred by Illuminati Silver, and we too will receive a small consideration if you do use their services. Meanwhile, thank you so much for listening. If you haven't done so, do subscribe to our channel, not forgetting to press the bell sign so you're notified of our videos as and when they're published, and any comments you wish to make about this video, please enter them below. Finally, we wish you a safe, enjoyable weekend and a prosperous week ahead. Illuminati Silver owners come from a background of banking, international wealth management and economics. Having now retired from these worlds, we are not qualified to give investment advice. Therefore, this and other productions must not be deemed to be giving such advice and merely represent the personal views of its owners.